2, 1.
Oh, it's time for a podcast.
That coffee's gone, dude.
How is everybody doing? Welcome to the Old Carver Fishing Podcast. He wants to put the camera on me. He just hasn't done it yet. I really want it zoomed in on my face. Welcome to the podcast, folks. It is a great Wednesday. Spring is coming. We're at Old Carver Fishing Bait and Tackle Shop here in Carver, Minnesota. And we got a great show today. First, I'm going to introduce the table here at the podcast studio, which is located in the bait shop, to be quite honest with everybody. As you can tell with the rods in the background, we're under construction. So if you see some stuff around, we are remodeling everything for opening on April 8th. Here is the Catfish grand opening. We're going to be grilling food. Hopefully my friends from the Vikings are going to be here. I've been talking to them about that. We got a whole over 100 rods are going to be in stock, you guys, for Catfish. Brand new reels are going to be in the studio, in the bait shop / studio. So that'll be a good one. It'll be fun. Dan's going to be grilling food. It's going to be good.
Yep.
Keep in mind, it's almost time.
Yep. And I'm not bringing in anything that's going to confuse us as condiments go.
Yeah, just regular, no
Mayo,
salsa for ketchup.
mustard, ketchup.
No sour cream for mayo.
I just try to please the crowd.
Just extend that arm out. So yeah, coming a little closer, Dan.
I don't think
You
so.
got to scoot that way.
Anyways,
Come to Papa.
I am Luke Henches. I'm Fish on Luke on YouTube, and now I have an announcement to make for that, for the YouTube world. Fish on Luke on TikTok. Also have an announcement for that. Next to me, Tara is not here, and as you guys can probably tell, it is not as pretty as Tara. but he's good at talking, and he loves the outdoors. He does a lot of the same things our guest does, which is hunting and fishing of the same species, actually, so they can have something to talk about in this podcast. That is Wade,
The
whitetail
Wade.
Wade. Always
Legend
in chat,
Wade is in the house.
giving us a hard time. And next to Wade at the end, we got Scott Goodyman here, Old Carver Fishing Pro Staff, and he's pro staff with Norfin. That's Scotty, the ice fish guy down at the end there.
You call him the Iceman now.
Yeah, Iceman. Next to Scott here, across from Wade, we have Danny Two Naps, Danny Two Cats. Someone's phone's too close to something. It is causing some static.
There you go.
And he's Old Carver Fishing Bait and Pro Staff as well. River guru here around the Minnesota River. And across from me, the cute one, we got Chuy Godinez Jr., co-owner of Old Carver Fishing Bait and Tackle Shop, Stoked Custom Baits.
That's right.
BoysLoveToFish.com. What else?
Don't forget my OnlyFans link too.
I was
His
gonna say,
OnlyFans. Which we might get banned for saying that.
It's the
'cause
same
we can't
page.
promote that on YouTube, so scratch that idea. He is the co-owner of Old Carver Fishing Bait and Tackle Shop here, and we're in his zone right now. Today, I'm not going to say who it is yet, but I'm going to play a video to introduce our guest. It is the one and only, the man himself, and here he is. We're going to play this, and you guys will know exactly who we're talking about. He likes to use chicken as bait. If it'll play.
You made it happen. 25,000 folks I want to personally thank. You keep me motivated. You make me fish harder. You keep me striving to do better. You are the reason I'm raising the bar and working to create the highest quality catfishing videos anywhere.
God, he's good
Here's
looking.
to you and the next 25,000 subscribers.
I'm getting goosebumps.
That was 50,000 subscribers ago. We got Dieter Melhorn in studio today.
What's up, guys? Thank you. Thank you for digging up that relic that I
Oh, I
haven't
love it.
changed. That's my fault. I've still got it up on the YouTube channel. So
We had to play it.
My fault. Thank
Before
you.
we get
Thank
into you, we got Derek Bowl in chat, and we got Cat Claws in the house.
What's up, brother?
Bank rod holders, and we got Muddy River Catfish and Chris Flores in the comments. What is going on, Chris? And yes, there's going to be some
Yeah,
major
it's gonna
flooding
be
here
major.
this spring.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Chris. Got you, buddy.
But
If you got any large shells you can send up, it'd be great.
we've been meaning to have you on, Dieter. It's Muddy. Chris already said you're his hero, so
There you
I mean
go.
that's where we're at there.
Yeah. Whatever.
Dieter-
Whatever.
Dieter-
Close in the house.
Me and Dieter have known each other for many, many years. We met through YouTube pretty much. I mean, we met at a catfish conference many, many years ago when Northwoods was kind of kicking out a lot of videos, and Dieter was getting a lot of traction started. And he's like, I just want to pass you guys. Well, he blew past us now. Now we're just peasants in the YouTube world, of course. I mean, that didn't surprise me one bit. But Dieter, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and we'll just start there, and then we can get into some hunting and fishing. And I mean, this is Old Carver Fishing Podcast, but our guests here are hunters as well. Our podcast guys. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what got you into fishing and where you're at now. And then we can get into some of the YouTube stuff and all the other professions you have.
Well, obviously, I talk a little different than y'all do. I'm from the South, the Carolinas, born and raised Charlotte, North Carolina. And I know that's confusing when you look at my name and you go, where does the name come from? Well, that's German. My mom was from Germany. My dad, a coal miner from Eastern Tennessee. That's where all that came from. But yeah, born and raised in the Carolinas, and it's you know, to have a name like that, doing this, sounding the way I sound, it's totally different and unique. So we've cleared all that up for anybody who doesn't know me. But yeah, I live here in this area, big into catfishing. I've done it all my life. Got into it really big. Boat fishing out of a boat probably 20 years ago, 15, 18, somewhere. I don't know how long it's been. Grew up bank fishing on the same lake that I primarily fish on now. And just decided one day I was sitting on the riverbank like I had as a kid. And, you watch a boat go by and you go, man, I'm going to get me a boat one day. And sitting there, I said, I'm a grown man. I can go get a boat now. And yeah, I was grown. So anyway, that's and I've got a podcast. I've got a YouTube channel. Just all that stuff, social media surrounding that. I started out as a kind of a fun thing. We cut the cord on cable TV and all that stuff. But we started streaming some stuff. So my wife showed me how to stream YouTube, and I seen some videos. I said, I'll look at some catfishing videos. And I knew there was stuff up there, but I was very, very naive 5 years ago now. And I seen Steve Douglas, and I said, oh, there's Steve. I'd fished in catfish tournaments, and knew him from there. And, he had a channel, which I knew he had one. And I started looking at it and then started asking some, oh, yeah, Steve's got a YouTube channel, blah, blah, blah. And, and that spun into more and more digging into YouTube. And then I finally found out that people actually make real money on YouTube. And I always looked at it because I come from a TV background. I always looked at it as kind of like a playland for people that really want to do TV, but they can't do real TV. So they do YouTube. Yep. And that's where I was naive and stupid. And fast forward to where we are now. And, I know people now that are making upper six figures, knocking on the door of seven, doing this stuff. And yeah, I do it. I love it. I still do the regular TV stuff. And I guide, and yeah, that's what you were alluding to earlier. All the other stuff that I do.
Which it looks like you already got into it. That was good to have you on. We appreciate you.
Thank you. We'll talk to you next week.
Have a good one. So in terms of YouTube, you started out when I met you. How big was your channel when we met?
God, I mean, I was probably 1,000 subscribers, or maybe. Yeah. I mean, it was the third year, I think, of the Catfish Conference, and the year I went, I think I had 1,500 subscribers, something like that. I mean, it was nothing, man.
Were you at the Catfish Conference in Kansas City last year?
No, did not make the one in Kansas City. I did not make the one this year either. Do some other sponsor obligations I had going on. So, but yeah, I'm going to try to go next year and try to go do the Catapalooza Smoky Mountain one this spring or this summer if that one happens. So,
it looks like Chris Flores wants to know where you got your hazard buoy at.
That one, interesting story. I've got, I think, 2 or 3 of them now. I find them floating in the lake. I do what you're supposed to. I called the number that's on the sticker. And every time they ask me, is it still attached to the chain? And I go, no, it's just floating. Well, you can discard it in the nearest dumpster or pull it. If it's a navigation hazard, you can take it over shore. They said they don't want them. There's something on the bottom of them that connects to the chain that attaches to the bottom. And once that's gone, they basically tell you to throw them away. So I threw them away in my yard.
It's nice for you to have in the podcast studio, you know?
It is. It's a nice little space here, so it decorates up well.
Patriot James Smith says, "Dang, Luke, you'll have anyone on your show."
What is up, James?
I love that. So get a Cat. We got Catfish and Crappie in the house. Howdy, Dieter and the Carver gang. What is going on, Mark? Thanks for joining.
Dude, I should have
us
stole
today.
that name, Catfish and Crappie. I should have stole that one.
What a
before.
great,
I
what a
love
great
that channel name. Yeah, I love
what
that
a great
channel
name.
Very original.
So you started YouTube and you were smaller, and obviously you got to start small to grow to be where you're at now. And I know you have goals to get even way bigger than where you're at right now. I mean, that's anyone's goal that is serious about. A lot of people say I do it for fun. I don't care about the money until you start making money, and then you want the growth to help.
Liking videos. It is a grind. It is a grind. I've had videos on YouTube since way back, but I was just putting them up so you could show somebody in one of the old fishing forums that were around. It wasn't to build a channel, and I think there's two different things. Just because you have some videos up doesn't mean you're trying to build a channel. And there's nothing wrong with that. So some people
I agree.
put them up for the heck of it, family videos, and that's great, and that's all you have to do. But I made a conscious decision after talking to some people and finding out that you could actually generate income doing this, to focus on doing it. And you start out, like in probably any business, pretty ignorant as far as what you need to do, what works, what doesn't work. You know, there's tons of videos out there. There's tons of channels that focus on that stuff, but you still don't get it, or at least I didn't, and most people I talk to don't get it. I think Luke Nichols probably got it. It seems like everything he touches on YouTube turns into gold. He's just a master of figuring stuff out. But I didn't get it, but I kept going. You'll get a little bit of traction if you keep at it. You'll get some traction. Something will bite. You'll try to figure out why did that work, and then you move on and on. But I will say this: in probably the last 2.5, 3 years, I kind of got a really better feel for what works, what needed to be done, what people wanted to see, what works and what doesn't work. And kind of got a feel for where I was as far as just, I'm trying to think of the right word, as far as a personality on YouTube, because I think different people, they just bite better than others. And
100%.
I'll give you an example. Richard Jean, the Fishing Machine. Okay. Great channel, puts out great videos. They're not super fancy. It's not, expensive cameras and high dollar cinematography, but he has a personality that resonates with a group of fishermen out there. And you can't replicate that. You can't duplicate it. You can't mimic it. Because if you do, you're just going to look like an idiot. And then there's some people that put out really good stuff, and, or they may create some good stuff and they just don't ever get any traction with it for whatever reason. And, that's just the nature of the business. I've got a friend in the television world that created these great little videos touring the mountains, going to these places, and they'd get some views and he'd do okay. And, he'd repair his old motorcycle he had as a kid. And it would be this cute little video that were done really well. Never got any real traction. And then one day he's at Costco or somewhere, and he sees back in the food section a lobster in this tank and goes, I wonder if I could keep this lobster alive at home, because he's got this koi pond. He used to raise koi fish. So he takes this lobster home and starts making these little films with it. And if you've ever come across Leon the Lobster, I think is the name of the lobster, he's killing it now. And it's just one of those things where it's just like the switch got flipped. He started making some videos on this thing, and he does all these videos chronicling this lobster and it molting and getting rid of its shell, and it's eating and it's home. And people just watch these things for hours and hours and hours. And I hate him now. I hate him because he's killing it. He's killing it.
Yeah.
Every time I see him, I'm just like, Brady, I hate you. But he just kind of stumbled into it. I say all that to say it's there is no right or wrong way. It's a lonely journey. You talk to people like this and you're kind of in your social group and then all of a sudden I'll get done tonight and I'll sit here and edit for 2 hours alone in a dark room staring at a monitor. And when you're thinking of it, the stacks of ideas over here, you know, you do that.
You're lucky you got a Southern accent, and I could listen to that all day long. Nobody wants to sit and listen to me and Luke with our Northern accents.
But there's, you know, that's the double-edged there for everybody that you draw in with that. You're also going to piss somebody off with it.
Yeah, you pissed me off.
My buddy Keith from Fishing and Stuff, he does all the fishing DIYs. He lives right up the road from me. His channel's blown up, tremendous channel. And, you know, when you listen to Keith sounds like he rolled down the mountain and hit every rock on the way down.
Yeah.
Talk to him get him away from that, and you'll realize the guy is very brilliant when it comes to just the artistic side of what he's doing and what he's creating, not to mention what he does crafting and machining stuff. But he sounds like he's fell off the turnip wagon. And there are people he's told me that just don't like him because you just sound dumb. And
you guys must be buddies.
It's like he may sound dumb, but he's really brilliant. But yeah, it don't matter what you do on anywhere in social media. You know, I've said it before. Somebody's going to hate you for it, and they're going to love you for it. If I pulled a baby out of the lake and did CPR and saved that child and put that video up, somebody would come on and go, "You did CPR wrong. You should have done this first."
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, that's just the way it goes.
How dare you touch that child? Where was the parents?
Where's the parents?
I know you take a lot of pride in quality on your videos. In terms of quality, we'll get into how important you think quality is on a YouTube channel. I didn't really plan on talking about YouTube success, but with the growth you've had, I think it'd be kind of something to really be good to hit on. But with the terms of quality, your profession, we'll show some pictures outside of doing YouTube and guiding. Chewy told me to slow down. I don't think he added the pictures I sent.
You're good. You're good.
You are a professional self-employed videographer.
Right.
You do a lot of work for NASCAR.
Yeah, I do stuff for NASCAR, ESPN, Fox. So, hey, was that Daytona this year? No, that was okay. We're trying to recognize where I was at.
Who's that driver?
That is Joey Logano when he won the Cup Championship in Phoenix. Was that last year?
Who's to the right? I think that's Who's the one to the right?
That is Jessie Punch. She is the daughter of Dr. Jerry Punch. If you ever followed NASCAR back in the day, he was the guy that was on ESPN. He also has he's an analyst in a bunch of college football stuff too. That's his daughter, cool. And she's one of the hosts online now.
Poor guy.
So you came into YouTube with a professional videography background, correct?
Yep. And you would never know that if you go back to 2017, 18 and look at the videos, because I was shooting everything on a GoPro.
Well, dude, that's the same thing for Northwoods, Dieter. If you go back to our first videos, they look like shit compared to where we ended, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, you think they look good at the time.
And well, the thing was for me, again, looking at it back then, I was like, I was naive and I thought, well, I'm just going to do this really simple and keep it just very down to earth and simple and not put that much into it and just, butt cut stuff together. And, because it looked like that's what other people were doing.
Yeah. Then that little demon got in your head, Dieter.
And it's just, then you started looking, but I couldn't edit before that. All I've ever done was shot something, handed a card to somebody or a videotape back in the day. They handled it. So I was learning to edit as this was going on. So I don't come from an editing background. So I was learning that, figuring that out. And then I started getting to the point where I knew what I wanted to do and I just didn't know how to do it. Didn't know how to close that deal. And that's when it started stepping it up. And then it was a combination of trying to figure out what works on YouTube. And, that to go back to your initial question, quality, you can have a successful channel using that right there, an iPhone. If you're talented and know what you're doing and know how to shoot with it, you really don't need anything more than that. For me, there's some stuff I like to do. It's just personal. The video.
You're kind of underthrowing the phone. Those phones nowadays take incredible video for what they are nowadays.
Yeah, I shoot a lot of B-roll with them. Today I was doing some fish slow-mo shots with it because I can plop it up on my cutting board and one of the fish I caught. But yeah, for people starting out, that's honestly all you need. The thing was for me, I did a striper fishing video last year with a guy in Tennessee, and that was kind of a personal, passion project, and I shot it on my big camera. It looks sexy as crap. I mean, it's some beautiful, beautiful bean footage. And, that I know doesn't really do well on YouTube, but I wanted to do it and I wanted to create it. And that's kind of where I'm getting to with some of the stuff. I kind of know what will bite and what will work, but sometimes I'm going to do something just because the heck I want to do it. And, crappie fishing videos don't traditionally do good on my channel. That, and if I want to go crappie fishing or striper fishing or shark fishing, my saltwater stuff sucks. Nobody watches it. But if I'm going to want to do it and I'm going to put it up, and I just like turkey hunting, I'm going to film turkey hunting starting this weekend and next weekend when we get in the woods doing that. So there's some stuff I'm going to keep enjoying it because my fear is it's a grind. And if it became exclusively doing that, I think I would get burned down on it. So
I got turkeys everywhere up here. It won't be a grind.
Everywhere. Oh,
isn't that crazy? They're everywhere.
God. We got 3 feet of snow though, so hopefully
that's an issue. That's an issue. When does y'all season? When does the season come in that far north?
Wait till time.
It's like April 15th.
15 April.
Really?
May, yeah.
Oh wow.
Wade's a big turkey hunter with bow.
So you can get them now, or you can get them while you're deer hunting in the stand, and that's usually when I pick them up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like to turkey hunt in the spring for sure. Bow hunt, turkeys, yeah.
Oh, I'm not that good. I'm not that good.
It doesn't matter. They're everywhere up here.
Yeah, right. They're literally everywhere.
I'm building a house right now, and there's like 30 of them in the backyard.
Well, you really need somebody to come kill those things because they will mess up your yard and stuff. And I know you don't want that to happen once you get that yard well groomed. So
maybe go talk to the city about that.
Yeah. Right, they're city birds.
Tell us a little bit about.
Shoots them with a bow.
You guys have any questions before I keep hammering on my questions?
I mean, talk away, Luke.
What else do you hunt?
Whitetail.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah. I've shot a bear. I went bear hunting in Canada about 8, 9, 10. It's probably been at least 10 years ago. Did that one time. That was interesting, fun, different. But yeah, we it's South Carolina deer, so they're not like.
Was that when you had a ponytail?
What, the bear or the deer?
Did you have a ponytail when you shot the bear?
No, I didn't have it then. I trying to think, what was the deal with the pony? Oh, if the wife said if I grew my hair out again, I could get a new truck. And
wait, she likes it when it's growing out.
That's a hell of a good deal.
Hell yeah, I'm growing.
She liked it long. She liked it long. Yeah. So
tell her I'm starting.
I'm not even going to say anything. I want
to. Tara might be listening.
No, that's nothing to do with it. I want to say something, but it's not very inappropriate, so I'm not going to say it.
Your family's listening, so
yes,
is that what it is? Okay.
So tell us a little bit. What's up?
If I gotta be censored, he does too.
Tell us a little bit about when you started guiding, what you guide for, and where you guide. Well,
I've guided for a long time. It was just kind of like a lot of people just doing it. People would, hey, I want to hire you, and I did it. But I decided to get my captain's license a few years ago. And so that's why I had the little captain thing showing up down there.
Yeah.
I actually went through the course, got the Coast Guard deal done. And I got on mainly lakes on the Catawba River chain of lakes. It's mainly Wiley, Norman, and Watery. Occasionally, if I am somewhere else, I will put out word in my email list to people and say, hey, I'm wherever, Santee Cooper. And if there's some people around that want to go do something there, it's not a place that I fish regularly, know all that good, but sometimes people just want to jump on the boat and fish it. And it's, I always wanted to do it. I always said I was going to do it when I retired. And when COVID happened, it kind of was television production world shut down. I mean, just literally within like 72 hours, it was just boom, 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 one thing after another, canceled, postponed. And I was guiding. I made mention of it, I think, in a live stream, because I never really said anything on my YouTube channel about it. And again, this is naive, stupid me that didn't get all this back then. Mentioned it in I think it was a live stream. Somebody get 2 text messages. Hey, I didn't know you guided. You do a trip. Yeah, cool. Said something about it, mentioned, hey, I was on a guide trip, blah, 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 blah. So as people started getting laid off and were on getting in, and as soon as their unemployment money started coming in, they realized I got time to fish and I'm getting, $950 a week now. So I could go do guide trip. It blew up. It really blew up then. And I decided at that point, right around then, I was supposed to get my captain's license right in that time period, and that got canceled because of COVID. But later that year, they opened the course up, and I got it. And yeah, it's I don't really need it on most of the lakes, but there's there's some question there with if you get into Santee Cooper, yeah, you got to have it. If you're on Lake Wiley, there's a debate whether you have to have it or not that even the Coast Guard can't answer. But as my attorney said, all you have to do is kill somebody and you'll find out very quickly whether you're supposed to have it or not.
Better safe than sorry.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
out of the days of the week you fish, let's say you fish 5 days a week. How many days of the week do you use chicken for bait?
It's a good question. In the summertime, especially post spawn, if I'm doing a guide trip, I will have half of the rods with chicken. Usually what I'll do is one side of the boat chicken, one side cut bait, whether it be perch, shad, crappie, whatever we're using. And it seems to pick. Right now I'm using nothing but cut bait. And because the fish we're still got 55-degree water this morning. We haven't got to the switches flipped yet. And we're, trending up. It's kind of up and down because it got warm, then it got cold, or cold for us anyway. Yeah. So it hasn't.
Is that switch for you like 60, 63?
Yep, you get right around that 60-degree mark. And I was doing a video today talking about the water temperature. And for me, I found there's a little correlation between that and what the Farmer's Almanac will have listed as the last freeze for your area, wherever you're at. Here it's around, I think, April 13th, 14th, somewhere in there. And it seems like once we get to that point, we're trending up the rest of the year. It's warmer. It seems like then these little snaps don't really bring the water temperature down that much. But yeah, once you get into that 60 range, it went into it a couple weeks ago when we had a warm snap, but then, we got these sub-freezing temperatures overnight, and during the day it wasn't getting much out of the 50s, so it pulled it back down. But now, today I was out there, high of 48 degrees. It was raining nasty. I'm bundled up in rain gear. Tomorrow and the next day it's going to be approaching 80, so it's going to
what are you targeting tomorrow and the next day?
Catfish. I'm tempted to do some crappie fishing just because probably by Friday they're going to be pulling up on that bank. The bad part is we're going to have, I think they're calling 15 to 20 sustained, and they're supposed to be gusting up to 30. So it's going to make trying to target crappie kind of hard. So, and I don't think they're going to be totally pulled up by Friday. So I'll probably just do some long drifts and stuff, get some places on the lake and just make some long pulls across there, big drift socks, that kind of stuff.
So I want to get back to what I was saying. Do you use just chicken titties or do you use other parts of the chicken?
I will. Here's my deal. I think any of it will work, being thighs or breast. Honestly, and the people think I joke when I say this, the reason I use chicken breast more than anything, I can go buy a big pack of it, pull out a chicken breast to use for bait, and we can eat the rest for dinner or whatever. Cook it, we can actually eat it. So
You
I
got back
don't-
up.
Good idea. Great idea.
Yeah.
That is.
the pieces I use are small, and most people that get on the boat are shocked on guide trips. It's about that big, and everybody gets into this big bait mentality, big bait, big fish, and there's a place for that. But I tried this with Jimmy down on Santee Cooper. He's got a channel, and I went down there with him. He uses big palm-sized pieces of bait, and there were more fish and bigger fish caught on my side. Jimmy, I hope you're not listening, because I wasn't supposed to ever mention that, because we just kind of glossed over it in the video. But I say all that seriously. I think the smaller pieces work, because I think when they're hitting chicken, they're doing it because they're feeding on mussels. Somehow I'm going to find me a scientist to do some testing on that, just to see if there is a link to the amino acids. And I don't think those fish are feeding on large things at that point. And I don't know really some of this is just hypothesis on this, but when they're crapping out that gunky crap from eating mussels, because they get them into their stomach, the digestive process opens them up, and it processes the little bit of crap that's inside of them, which amazes me that they can get that much nutrients out of them. There's something in those things that they crave and they're able to detect. And here's where the science comes in. And I explained this to a biologist, and he said, you may be onto something. Blue catfish are not native to where I fish at. Okay. Nothing on this side of the Appalachian Mountains has ever had blue catfish. So they're not native here. The Asiatic clam, that first word there, Asiatic, being from Asia, they're not native either. So somehow these catfish figured out, that are not from here, that these things that to us would look like rocks rolling around on the bottom, I can eat that thing. I'm going to get it in me, and I'm going to get something out of it. So, somehow they figured out that there's something in there. And that's where I think that what we associate with smell, everything's got a stink, that because catfish sense stuff by smell. I don't think they smell the same way that we smell. It's
that's factual information. You're right.
Yeah, it's a sensory smell, if you want to call it that. And that's why I think the chicken works. But this time of the year, for whatever reason, I think bigger cut baits work. And I think it's because a lot of these fish are becoming active. They're taking on a lot of stuff, just like a lot of other species of fish do this year.
And I know people that fish the spring, when they fish for chans, like on the Red River, they prefer frozen dead bait over fresh dead bait, representing the thawing of dead shad, dead bait fish over the winter that start to sink once the ice melts.
Yeah.
And that's just Brad Durek prefers frozen bait in the spring over fresh cut bait.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
It's the first time I hear that, though.
Yeah, and we got a lot of. Don't ever cut me off again.
You notice I stopped right away when I saw you talking.
I was gonna say we have huge clam beds here on the Minnesota River, and you can only see them when the water's low.
Right.
So it's a really good thing to mark. I have them marked on my graph, because I know where all the clam beds are. Because those channel cats are eating clams. That's just the way it is. They're crushing clam shells. They're eating clams. If you can find a clam bed, I think the right time, like you said, is probably the most important thing when you're fishing for stuff like that. We can't use them as bait here. In Minnesota, it's illegal. But if you can use chicken liver or chicken tits, you can probably find when they're feeding on those clam beds and probably hammer them down pretty hard.
Yeah. Now, funny story. When I first started doing that, because I did it as a joke to begin with, I did the strawberry jello chicken. Tuck, one of my son's friends, him and my son, they went fishing. I'm like, I'm going to show that this stuff is nothing but a bunch of stupid gimmick crap. And I've got fresh shad. I've got cut perch on here, slinging blood everywhere when you cut them open. I said, I'm going to show everybody this stuff's a gimmick. Well, that trip, we caught more fish on the chicken. I said, well, that was just a fluke.
The Kool-Aid chicken?
The Jello, strawberry Jello. Apparently Kool-Aid works too. I don't think
a lot of people use Kool-Aid.
Right?
Yeah.
Well,
and
Jello's
that's
probably
what started it. I I'm curious if the Jello or the Kool-Aid has anything to do with it. Because I have caught just as many fish without, I don't even use it anymore. I've caught just as many without the Jello added to it. So there was one guy had a hypothesis that Jello, the gelatin, is made from pig fat, and that there's, you know, the amino acids in it, and it may put something into the water. But I just use the chicken, and it's it works. It's and like I said, there have been times where I did not use it on guide trips for a long time, and because no guide in his, you know, professional guide in his right mind would use any of that, you know, gimmick bait. You gotta go out and throw that cast net, you know, for an hour and a half before they get there and catch the live bait. And then one of my guide buddies, you know, we're calling shooting the crap one day, and he said, you know, he's just kind of in passing. Yeah, I drifted so-and-so place. Yeah, you know, caught every one of them on chicken there. And we went over to here, blah, 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 anchored up, and couldn't get anything on the shad. It was all chicken there. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. What did you say? He goes, yeah, on chicken. Everything's been on chicken lately. How have you been doing on it? I was like, wait a minute, you're doing this on guide trips? He goes, yeah. He said, you're not using it? I was like, no. He goes, you're stupid. He said, I seen that in one of your videos. And so anyway, I actually started using it. And since then, outside of this time of the year, or if we're out, I get some people that just want to go on a hero or zero trip, just trying to catch, you know, what would be a tournament winning fish.
Right.
And on those, I generally won't do it. I'll go with bigger pieces of cut bait, live bait, just to eliminate any small fish and, you know, swing for it that way. But drifting and dragging pretty much post spawn on, I at least have half the baits out that way. And
what that means.
Most of the time, actually, every time I've done that for the past 2 years, most of the fish have been caught on chicken.
So, how many lines can you use?
6. We can. I'm sorry, I fish 6. When people ask how many rods can you use, I tell them all of them. There is no limit here. So.
No rod limit.
Oh, there really isn't?
There really isn't. No.
And you can use whatever fucking bait you want.
Here's the crazy thing. They've got a rod limit on the bank. You can only use 4 rods on the bank, but in a boat, you can use them all. So
that's insane.
Why though?
Only 4 rods.
Just different states have different, like Texas is 100 hooks.
Yeah. But I mean, why only 4 rods in the bank?
So whenever do you spider rig for crappies a lot?
How many rods you use?
1 line.
Got 20, but I use 1.
Scott, what were you saying?
I was asking him if he spider rigs for crappies a lot.
I don't do the spider rigging. I do long line trolling. And that is a little more in my wheelhouse just from doing it so much for catfish. It's very similar, so I can play that game pretty good. I don't have the patience to sit there, and I've done it with some people, and it's not my thing. So
it looks like it could be a mess.
Yeah,
it could be.
Yeah, and stuff.
That big crappie messing up all your lines.
Yeah, there's a
what percentage
catfish?
What percentage of your fishing saltwater, you think?
How much is saltwater fishing?
Yep.
Not much. I mean, probably 10% of the fishing I do. We've got a camper down at the coast, and we'll go down there and hang out. And I go to Florida for a couple weeks every year. I got family down there. My wife's got family down there, and I guess they're mine too since we're married. But anyway, we go down there and goof off and fish. I'm not real good at that. I'm usually fishing for sharks or something else that is stupid and will bite, similar to what a catfish will bite. I figured out how to catch grouper last year down in.
I think that would be fun.
Those things are pretty cool. You just have to really put the screws to them as soon as they sit. That was the thing I didn't get. As soon as they hit a bait, even the gag grouper, as soon as they take the bait and take off,
right?
You've got to you either pull them out of the crap or you lose them.
Oh, you're done. I mean, we had one last year, a pretty big one, pull down on a big piece of cut bait. We were vertical fishing a wreck, and that thing got in the wreck so fast, like.
Yep.
We didn't have the gear to pull it out. It was probably a 30-pound grouper, most likely, or smaller, but like he said, that those fish go instantly into the wreck when you fish grouper.
They look like they'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, you don't fish. Do you fish Goliaths or no?
No, I haven't done that. These are all gag grouper.
Yeah,
and some other
gags
ones
and
down there. Yeah.
A lot
The
of
thing
gags
I
are
didn't-
weird fishing too.
The thing I didn't understand was that I'd get on a place and I'd catch 2 or 3 of them, and some would be over, or unders, and throw them back, and a couple keepers, and then I'd get one that would hang up, and boom, I would never get another bite. And this happened in a couple of different little wrecks down there. And I was telling some guy at the dock about it. He goes, "Oh yeah," he said, "You break one off, he gets back in there." He said they start doing this grunting thing, and he said it's like all the other fish will just lock down for like an hour.
Oh,
He
that's
said,
weird.
Wow.
He said you might as well just
Crazy.
pack up and go to another place, and come back and revisit that later. So I was
That's so
pretty
cool.
interesting.
That is.
I like that.
What's
Snitches,
your biggest catfish?
71. I had one in Santee a couple of years ago. 71, and we've had how many? Four right around here, which I think are more impressive because Santee, it's got massive fish. But around here on the Catawba Channel Lakes up here, they're right around 60, 61 pounds. Those were
It's a good fish.
all pretty cool. Yeah. I haven't. I'm trying to think. No, I haven't broke 60 on a guy trip. We've had some over 50. We had a 48 a couple weeks ago. This was an interesting story. This guy fishes with me a lot. Daniel, if you're listening, this is a story. I got to tell. I hadn't even told this one on my podcast or anything. He went fishing with me in, I think it was December, and the days leading up to that, it was winter fishing. It was slow, but we were catching some fish. And we go out, and he's dying to go, and off work. And we go out. He brought his wife. God love her. It was cold. Front came through. Temperature dropped. It was cold. Fishing was hideous. The first time I've ever been skunked on a guide trip. And we had one hooked up on, didn't get it. And skunked on a guide trip. I mean, just it mentally screwed me up. It's never happened. Wasn't for lack of trying. We burned a lot of gas. We tried a lot of things. Just something happened with that front. Usually I don't put too much stock into that, but that's the only thing that really changed from one day to the next. So fast forward, he comes on this trip, and we go, and he brings one of his buddies from work, and he catches this 48 pounder, which is a personal best. So he goes from like 0 to hero in like 2 trips. So it was, I said, let's just stick with going back to just mediocre from here on out, and not back to getting skunked again. So that was the first time that's ever happened. That sucks. And mentally it will, at least for me, it will eat you up. You talk to guys, oh, it'll happen, blah, blah, blah. But still, I feel like I can catch fish of some sort every time I'm out there.
Do you let your clients keep fish too?
If they want to. I put a 10 pound, I think it's 10 pounds. Yeah, I think it's a 10 pound. I've got something on my website that says release fish over 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Because I thought that when I started this, people were going to want to fill coolers, because you always see these pictures from like Santee Cooper and some of these places, the pictures of the coolers and all that stuff. But for whatever reason, the clients that I have generally don't want to keep fish. Like, don't want to keep them because they feel guilty because they see me release so many of them in videos. But I guess some want to keep them. And, they're like, oh, God, we can't kill his fish. He released his fish. But, they're, and I put 10 pounds out there as, a decent little number, because generally we will catch. Eaters, we will catch fish under that. And until, I always joke, it's a curse of, you're keeping fish, say, hey, you're keeping some fish, and they'll go, yeah, we brought a cooler, we'd like to, keep some. That's usually when we go out there and we smoke them. And
you don't catch any under 10.
Yeah, we're catching 18, 19, 20, 30 pound fish. So, but even then, I've had some, we had one trip where we finally caught one that was about 11 or 12 pounds. And I was like, put it in the cooler. I mean, we're killing the fish. Just it's obviously not going to hurt the population by
Are they reproducing a lot in that body of water?
Oh yeah. Yeah. These fish have
that's-
never been stocked in here. It's all natural reproduction. And
That's
honestly, some of the I know everybody gets bent out of shape on, commercial fishing, selling them to pay lakes, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. But from what the biologists are telling us, it don't really matter if they're taking anything out of that lake, you can't tell it in any of the creel surveys or any of the shocking or any of the data that I've been collecting for them, because everything's still trending up. Population seems to be stable. If anything, they're thinking.
It's mighty nice of those people to tell you that information.
Yeah,
I'm a skeptic.
Me and you both.
Well, it's you don't know what the fish science. It is science, but it's also very, very new in, trying to manage these fisheries, the juggling act they have to do. And a lot of it's kind of trial and error and figuring stuff out. Some of the stuff with like bass and crappie, they've got a real good feel on, but because they've been doing that, there's been a focus on that for so long. But when it comes to catfish, or you throw carp into the mix, and there's a lot of guesswork going into what they do. Plus they got to keep everybody happy. As a catfish angler, I want to catch, giant fish every trip. And, in between the giant ones, I want to catch a whole bunch of little ones too, just to pass the time. Meanwhile, there's a bass guy over here going, them stupid catfish are eating all my bass fry. And, crappie guy, we ain't got crappie like we used to because catfish is eating them. So, you got your biologist here in the middle that's going, hell, this fishery's fine. Y'all need to see what we're shocking up and getting in the nets when we come do this stuff.
Well,
so
crappie need predators though too.
Absolutely,
all of those fish need
predators. Yep. That's the thing with crappie. And what happens? Yeah, when you get those things, they'll tell you don't put those things in a small pond if you don't plan to catch and kill them, because you give them about 2 or 3 seasons, and every one of them is going to be in there. It's going to be that big, and they'll never.
Yep.
Yeah, I've talked to some biologists where they have aged fish and crappie don't live super long until they get stunted and nobody wants to keep them, and then they're aging the otoliths and these things, and they're like 12 years old, and they're like that big because nobody wants to keep that fish. Let's throw him back and let him grow. And
so like up here, whenever I'm looking at stats on lakes, I'll actually look for lakes that have a lot of pike and stuff in them, because they normally have bigger crappie in them.
Right. Cleans out that smaller group of crappie and lets them grow a little bigger.
It does.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
I think we're all just stunned that Scotty ducked.
Yeah, I'm usually pretty quiet, but I don't know.
Right.
Well, before we're done with you, I want to make an announcement. Recently, I decided. Get out of here. Myself and Tara are going to start a new channel. We did start a new channel. We haven't put a video out, but Tara made an intro video. She's a great editor. So I'm going to play that quick, and then we'll talk a little bit about what we're going to do before we
There you go.
That's it.
That's pretty loud.
That was extremely loud in my ears.
Was
that loud on your end, Dieter?
Yeah, I was going to say your audio mix there was a little bit off, but we get the point. Looks good.
But anyways, new channel, Rods and Reloads. We're going to really push hard on that this year, we're going to try to do some stuff nobody else is doing, try to find our niche. And I think that's important in my mind for making a new channel, is finding your niche, what works for you, and what works for you. Keep going on that and expanding on that. Don't keep going back to videos that aren't working. I think I've been on YouTube long enough now where I don't know if I know what works. I think Dieter might know a little more than me, but when you find something that is working, we're going to really push to make that go.
I know.
I don't want to be repetitive on making videos, but I told her if we find something that really hits people, that people really like watching, we might end up in the back of a truck hunting for rocks. You never know.
It sounds like a great life.
No, I'm saying.
No, I'm in.
But we're really excited for the new channel. So make sure if you guys haven't been over there, check it out. Rods and Reloads. we're really excited to put out some new videos, some different kind of content.
Yeah.
We're gonna have good B-roll, but we're not gonna go too crazy, Dieter. It's not gonna be like Northwoods B-roll where it was so much craziness, but
I'm still heartbroken you didn't use any of my channel names that I gave you because I really.
He gave me some ideas.
I had some.
And Northwoods, we are planning on putting out a video this summer. It won't get any views because our channel's dead, but we hit 38,000 subscribers last week, I guess.
There you
That's
go.
kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
So is that channel still getting subscribers even though you? That's cool. That's cool.
Not a lot, but the one video is just a random like flathead video fishing a bridge, just keeps growing a million plus all the time. I mean, not a million, but it hit 1 million. It just keeps going up. So I mean, I'm guessing that's where they're coming from.
That's the one with the bent rod thumbnail, bridge in background. Yeah.
People like it.
Mark, I'm getting a lobster.
Mark said he's getting a lobster.
I'm telling you, Leon the lobster. Look it up. It's addictive too. Once you start watching Leon, it's like.
I got some pictures I want to show real quick.
Yeah, we got a few pictures of some fish, Dieter.
That's a recent one. Yeah.
So we call that the Dieter hold in the business. That's Dieter's wide lens. That's his hold. That's how he holds the fish.
Cameraman at the feet.
I always know it's Dieter when I see a picture like that.
There's usually dead space at the top so that you can put copy in there for a thumbnail. Yep.
Always thinking of the thumb.
That is the new position on the cutting board that's a little bit more raised, and where that whole idea, that angle and everything was because the only place I could put my phone.
That picture would make our Minnesota catfish go nuts. They would not like the way you're handling that fish.
Dieter, these guys at the table don't really understand, but look at the butthole on that fish.
It's a big butt. You know why its butt's big?
He's trying to get out a clam or a mussel.
Hey, he's exactly right.
Fucking thing's huge.
It's pooping out the mussel shells. Yep.
Yeah, I nailed it. I got a 5-year-old son. I get it.
Yeah. That's the other time to start using chicken is when and I don't know if this happens in other places, but you'll catch these blue cats and their bowels. There's a big sack where their insides turn out inside out to get rid of those shells. And that's the clue that they're eating those things too. That's when I really start ramping up the chicken.
So do you think the channel cats that are eating, so their channel cats are very capable of crushing clam shells. Do you think they're eating the whole shell?
I know the blues are. I don't know about the channel cats. I know that we have white perch here. White perch eat very small pinhead size mussels that are on the bottom, because when I catch them, again, this is seasonally, usually it's after the spawn for some reason. You'll catch them, you'll have them in the bait tank, and there'll be these little bitty shells down in the bottom of that thing.
Are they zebra mussels? Invasive zebra mussels?
No, we don't get too many. It's mostly those Asiatic clams is what they're eating.
Okay. And is the Wiley Lake, is it brackish or is it straight freshwater?
It's pretty clear. It's pretty clear. What happens is we've got a 33,000 acre impoundment, one lake up, and a very small one in between that is where they pull water for Charlotte and some other municipalities. That 33,000 acre lake, the bottom 2/3 of it is gin clear water. Okay. And that's what ends up happening is because Wiley's only 13,000. You get they basically will flush that. It takes about a week. It'll go from a dirt road muddy to gin clear water in about a week because they basically will flush it out as they're moving water down through the system.
It's like changing the fish tank water.
Right.
Yeah.
Change the tank.
Yep.
That's really cool. If people want to get on a guide trip, where are you located?
Charlotte, North Carolina. That's the biggest city. When we're on the lake, you can hear planes taking off from Charlotte Douglas Airport. So yeah.
How do people get a hold of you?
Go to the website, Dieter Melhorn Fishing. You can't read that, but
.com.
It's not on there. It's not on there. No, it's not on there either. DieterMelhornFishing.com.
I love that. Well, we appreciate having you on here.
Hey, thanks.
I think we got over some good stuff. Maybe we'll have you on again. I still need to get on your podcast one of these days.
Hit me up about that. If you got a night, you can tape something. I don't do mine live, but yeah, we'll tape something.
That works good for me in case I say something really stupid.
Really stupid.
Yeah. But if you guys do want to get out with Dieter in the North Carolina area, make sure you go check him out at DieterMelhornFishing.com. Yeah, he's a great guy. I've known Dieter a long time. We appreciate you coming on, Dieter. Thanks again.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you,
Nice
man.
to meet you.
Thanks.
He's a good dude.
That was great.
That was awesome.
Known Dieter many years. I've always liked him.
And they're fishing flats down there too.
Talk in your mic.
They're fishing flats down there too.
Oh, he catches flats. Oh yeah. He's just very lot of energy. He really gives his points really well, which I appreciate about him.
I'm stuck on the southern accent. I just
He's
like
got
it. He's got a good ring.
His friend
Yeah, there's
Keith.
something
His
about
friend
it.
Keith has a way thicker accent. From fishing stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
He's a huge channel. He's such a thick accent.
More banjo.
Thank you guys for coming in here. April 8th is our grand opening once again for the bait shop here in Carver. We'll have 100 plus rods in stock, probably 20 plus reels in stock. We're gonna have we have some new line. We have canine braid coming in. We got some more suffix coming in. We're gonna have weights made. We're gonna be stocked in weights. We're gonna have everything. We're gonna have apparel out, stickers out, weights, terminal tackle, hooks, sinker slides. It's gonna be a good weekend.
Yeah, most importantly, Luke Henches will be here.
I'll be here.
State
He'll be
record
Yeah.
sturgeon holder.
Yeah, holder. Yep.
Yeah, he'll be
Yep.
signing autographs.
Danny Two
Yeah.
Cats will be here.
Yeah, we don't need
Yeah.
it. We don't. I love the Vikings, but we don't need them. We got
Danny
that.
one girl.
We got Luke Henches in there.
No, we got some questions for those Vikings.
yeah. I hope they don't come and Wade's not here.
We're gonna have to lock Wade in the bathroom until we leave.
Wade's already planning a hunting. I talked to him. He's gonna actually hunt with Wade.
Yeah,
I got him
still
set up.
interested in that?
Oh, I'm sure he'll go.
Okay, yeah. Awesome.
But yeah, we appreciate
Lucky.
all you guys coming in here. Yes, sir. And Flatheads are really turning on for Wiley. A 63 was caught last year. That's a
There
good
you go.
fish.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, that's a really nice fish.
Number blues, right? You're talking about
Flathead.
Flatheads.
Oh,
That's degrees,
63,
wasn't it?
yeah. That's a good one.
But
Hell
yeah, other than that, I think that's it for tonight. I want to go eat tacos.
Yep, you gotta go over there.
Tengo hambre
Tacos.
mucho. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're in the house.
Do
Come
we have
join
any?
us.
Do we have anything else?
Nope, you covered it. April 8th will be the day.
April 8th.
We'll have over 100 rods, really.
Yeah, over 100.
And, I
And
mean,
only 20
I'm not gonna
reels,
say-
so
I'm not gonna
don't plan
say-
on buying all.
I'm not going to call it the exact
Just
amount,
gonna
but
hang
we'll
out
have
again
about
outside.
13, 14, 15 brands
Of
of rods.
I think 11.
No, that are here now, but
all your
it'll be
catfish.
15.
Oh, we're gonna have a lot of. We're gonna have
A lot of
of
stuff, man.
lot.
Like we said, we'll be
If you wanna
devoted
get
to the
your
catfishing
hands-
fraternity, and we're going to stick to it, and that's what we're doing, regardless of whatever
So
else
if you've been
happens.
contemplating getting a rod, I know the biggest thing about when you buy a rod is I want to see what it's like in my hands. I want to feel it, bend it,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Dan's into that too.
Yeah.
But I didn't even think of that when I was saying it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you want to come feel some rods, come over to All Carver Fishing.
No, but realistically, if you want to get your hands on some fishing rods, how about that?
There you go.
This is the place to do
That's
it.
much better.
April 8th, starting at 9 o'clock, right?
Now around 9 o'clock.
Right
in the
around
morning,
9 o'clock,
10, we'll see.
We'll be opening up the door. So
Not often you
Yeah.
leave
and
me
we're grilling.
speechless.
Dan's gonna be grilling meats.
Meat.
Yeah.
So he'll have rods in his hand and he'll be holding the meat.
Oh yeah, hamburgers, hot dogs, brats,
It's gonna
maybe
be
a
good.
small fish fry,
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
depending on if Luke can catch some cats for us or not.
I'll catch some chans.
Okay, okay,
Always some sheep heads.
Yeah, sheepheads are good.
whatever.
But thank you guys so much for tuning in to Old Carver Fishing
They're
Bait and
fun.
Tackle podcast. We appreciate it. We'll see you next Wednesday. We have Azul next week.
El Gato
El
Azul.
Gato Azul. He's a YouTuber as well.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a all 100% Spanish podcast. It's going to be English
I'm out.
captions. So just be prepared for that.
We need to
Nice.
bring
I got a week out.
we need to sit Rika here then, and we can do that.
Right. But thank you guys so
All
much,
right,
and we'll
guys.
see you next week.
See you guys.